Hello, it's our 1980s edition today, this afternoon. It's a Saturday as well, and normally get excited because things you can do, but we can't do anything. We can't go out. We can't do anything. So I might ramble a bit with this because the other thing I was thinking of today when I was getting things ready, it's a slightly different context with this session because the records I'm choosing were actually records that I actually bought at the time as they were being released. Whereas with the 60s and the 70s, it's obviously stuff that I've gone back to, or it's stuff that I've read about or been told about. So it's kind of I had to chase those records. Whereas these ones that are coming up, I've actually got some emotional attachment to because I was actually there buying them at the time in most cases. Couple of things before I do start. I've got a handful of these are on CD, but I did actually have all of these on vinyl at one time. But I had many years ago I had a few records pinched. So when you see CD, it's a replacement or an upgrade. But don't want to dwell on that. And again, my top five they're set in stone, but the rest 20 down to number six. I've tried to put these more in an order, but generally they could be in any order really. I love them all for reasons I'll try and explain as we go through. Let's crack on. My first one, going back to primary school days, we had to. I remember I had to pick a band. You had to tie your mask to a particular band, and at the time, the main choices were the Jam, Adam and the Ants, and the Police. Now my cousin was mad on the Police, and my elder brother he was always bringing the Police records in, so I tied my mask to them. And my first album is by the Police, and it's Zenyatta Mondata from 1980. I think this went to number one all around the world at the time. It was, I say, their third album. I think it's their peak as well. They lasted for another couple of albums and called it a day, which I always think is a good idea with the top bands. Do your best stuff and don't let the quality dip too much. And I don't think the Police did. I always thought they did good stuff. Then I went through a funny phase with the Police. His voice started getting on my nerves, Sting. I liked his first solo album as well, Dream of the Blue Turtles. But then his voice used to start grating on me, so I didn't listen to the Police for years, but got back into them recently. And I just think they're a great little three-piece. Stuart Copeland is an amazing drummer. I love following his drums on all the Police albums. So yeah, Zenyatta Mondata is my first one from primary school days. Right, second up. Does remind me of secondary school. This everyone liked Yazoo and Alf, Alison Moyet, of course, and Vince Clarke. This is a fab album. All electronic synthesizers, Vince, of course. Only You, Don't Go. Bad Connection could have been another number one single, I reckon. Winter Kills, Goodbye 70s, Midnight, In My Room. Fabulous stuff. And then they carried on for one more album after this, and that was it. But yeah, always had a copy of this knocking about somewhere, and it's often played in car on CD. Yazoo. Staying with the electronic edge, and this band are a real Marmite band. You either love them or hate them, and even those of us that do like them do admit that they also produce some shite at times. But this one is a Stonewall classic from 1981. It's OMD, Architecture and Morality. Nice arty cover. Oh, let me put that back actually. I don't know why I did that. See, it looks all posh there. And you can take it out. And it's like that. Ta-da. No, I do like this. It's a really well balanced, well paced album. got instrumentals and songs on, of course. You know the hits: Joan of Arc, Joan of Arc, Maid of Orleans, Souvenir, of course. But then you got She's Leaving, and then the instrumentals: Georgia, named after my daughter, Sealand, and then finished off with the beginning and the end. And it is a great album, this. And I know a few of my mates think highly of this as well. But then in the mid-80s they went really shite. Oh well. Right, and then I'm dead annoyed about this because, let's say, it's the CD version, this next one. But I have actually got the vinyl album in the house somewhere and I can't find it. I went looking before and I have everything in alphabetical order because I'm odd that way. And it's not there, so either remember the family messing with me head again, they do it from time to time and put it in like the K section or something like that. So I will find it. It is in the house somewhere, but luckily I've got the CD version. Also, you will notice I'm up in the loft today. I've been turfed out from downstairs. I said to Mrs. I'm going to do another video today. She said, well, it's Saturday, it's my cleaning day, so if you're going to talk shite for hours, you can piss off up to the loft. So, sorry about that, folks. I'm up in the loft today. But anyway, 1985, and my next favourite album is Madness. And Mad, Not Mad. The other thing with some of my choices today as well, as much as I love the albums, a few of them, the bands actually think they were shite, and this is one of them. Suggs called this a polished turd. He thinks it was vastly overproduced. I can see where he's coming from, but the songs shine through on this. Yesterday's Men, I'll Compete, my favourite, The Coldest Day, which is a tribute to Marvin Gaye. They do a cover of The Sweetest Girl by Squitty Politti, and that's what the inside sleeve on the vinyl looked like. They had these pictures, but this is one of the All Singing Dancing CD deluxe editions. It's well worth getting a copy of. Madness, Mad Not Mad, first band I ever saw with my best friend Paul. He got me into this, and then from this I went back and caught up with Madness because I was never really a fan of theirs. I like the singles and stuff, but I was never into the albums till after this. I went back and everyone loves a bit of Madness, but this is a generally great album. Right, next up, could have picked any of this next band. I could have picked any from their catalogue. I've actually gone for the only time through this whole series I've picked their live album. I don't think it's cheating because it's a worthy album on its own. Great band, Talking Heads, Stop Making Sense. This is a nice overview of the old career actually. I say I could have picked any of their studio albums, but this is just brilliant. And if you've seen the video of the show, you'll know what I mean. Everything's on a Psycho Killer, Burning Down the House, Life During Wartime, This Must Be the Place, which is beautiful. My mate Joe, if you're looking in, Joe, we always played Slippery People in the clubs, and that always got the floor full. I don't know why it's a live version. I mean, it is better than the studio version. But Talking Heads, Stop Making Sense. Again, I had this on vinyl and it disappeared. It's a great document. It was a great show. Talking Heads. I also say I could have picked any of theirs, but I really like Little Creatures, which is their commercial peak, which again the band hate, so it must be me. But Talking Heads, Stop Making Sense. Next one. This could have been in my top 5 actually. I always play this and I've always loved it and I always will, and it was our Truant album. It was ever mums and dads were out when we was at school, we'd drive around to the empty house, big gang of mates, and this was our album, Human League, Dare. This is what we used to wag it to. It's followed us everywhere, and this is what an album should be like. Great sleeve, great artwork, great look, and great songs. Things That Dreams Are Made Of, Open Your Heart, my favourite on the album. Darkness, Do or Die, it's got Love Action, of course, and Don't You Want Me Baby. their version of Get Carter. But this is just a classy album from start to finish, and their peak, obviously a commercial peak. But all special memories this. Of getting up to mischief when should have been in school. Human League, Dare. Right, I'm going to get a bit, well, I'm going to choose a rock album now. I love this fella, as many of you know, for many reasons. A genius on the guitar. Again, this is album that them two did. It's a duo album. It's and they don't really like. Oh, they didn't really like it. But I love it. It's Mick Ronson and Ian Hunter from Mott The Hoople. Mick Ronson, Bowie's old guitarist, and it's Why You I Order from 1989. And it's just a great rock album. For some reason, Ian Hunter kind of dismisses it. It's a bit corporate, I think he thinks. But it's a great rock album. Some great tracks on this. American Music was a single. Women's Intuition, great Ronson, great guitar by Ronson, great guitar all the way through. That lovely instrumental at the end, Sweet Dreamer, with Mick on guitar. And me and Paul went to see these play Manchester in 1990. That's when I managed to meet Mick, and he signed my album. He's a lovely fella. I absolutely adore this album. Mick Ronson, Ian Hunter, Why You I Order. Staying with Guitar Heroes. This is one that one of my albums that got stolen, but I've upgraded it, and it's the Smiths. The Queen is Dead. If you're from Manchester, you gotta love the Smiths. Ring your DNA. Queen is Dead. I Know It's Over. Frankly, Mr. Shankly. Big Mouth Strikes Again. And everyone's favourite, There Is a Light That Never Goes Out. I say this is an old singing, dancing version. It's got demos on and what have you, but the album itself is wonderful. The Smiths, all four of them on top of the game. No one overtakes proceedings, I don't think, anyway. Just a great album from start to finish. The Smiths, The Queen is Dead. Next up, go to proper songs now, proper melodies. This band are still going. This first came out in 1982. It's their debut album. I could have picked again any of their albums from the 80s because they don't do bad music at all. They don't write bad songs. Every album's just classy. It's China Crisis, their debut album, Difficult Shapes and Passive Rhythms. And this has got the beautiful Christian on it, African and White, No More Blue Horizons, Gene Walks in Fresh Fields, Gary Daly, Eddie London and Gazza Johnson and Kevin Wilkinson. They're the core of the band. Went to see this, didn't we, Keith? Went to see them perform this album about 4 years ago, and it's a memorable night. That's a memorable night. But that, anything by China Crisis is worth picking up if you haven't got any of theirs. People dismiss them a bit lightweight, but they're not. They're just very, very skilled songwriters, I think. China Crisis. Right, we'll get edgy again. And we're back to Manchester, and it's the uncompromising The Fall, This Nation's Saving Grace from 1985 again. Again, I could have chose a few of The Falls, but this one I do enjoy just from start to finish. This one, My New House, Paintwork's my favourite on this. We've got Mansion, Bombast, Spoiled Victorian Child. It's just The Fall at the best. Marquis Smith, who sadly left us a couple of years ago. They're a great band to get into if you can. I took my time with them because they've got that many albums to catch up with. I've just taken my time. When I used to see an album that was cheap enough, I'd pick it up and fall in love with it over time. What you do. That's just one of my regrets. I never saw The Fall live. Ugh. I always kept putting it off. I'll see him next year, and I never did. Right, from The Fall. Let's be controversial. I know I'll get pelters for this, but I think it's one of his best. I didn't put him in the 70s. There was better stuff out there, but he's definitely in with the 80s because I've always liked this album. I think it's a classic. It's John Lennon with Yoko and Double Fantasy. I have no problem with this album because Yoko's on it. I like her stuff on it. I think it's really, really well done. A few years ago, they brought another version of it out that was kind of mixed down a little bit. It was a bit more dry. All the echo and stuff was taken off, and that was just as good. There's so many good songs on this. Beautiful Boy, Dear Yoko, Watching the Wheels, Woman, Starting Over, and then Yoko stuff, Kiss Kiss Kiss, Give Me Something, I'm Moving On. It's a great album. Just a shame we all know what happened after this came out. What could have been? What could have been? John Lennon, Yoko Ono, Double Fantasy from 1980. Excuse me. Right then, next up we're getting to my top 5. Right, this next one, again, my vinyl got pinched years ago, but this summed up Manchester in the late 80s. It's the Stone Roses, and it's Stone Roses. Manchester just changed overnight when this come out from just being drab and everyone looking scruffy. You had your last remnants of your Perry boys, and then suddenly everyone started wearing flares and daft hats. I never did actually. I never went for that fashion. I was still on my Davy Sylvian hairstyle in the late 80s, early 90s. Yeah, the Stone Roses. I Want to Be Adored. She Bangs the Drum. Made of Stone with my favourite on the album. I Am the Resurrection. Everyone goes berserk when that comes on anywhere. Stone Roses from 1989. Bit of a game changer, this. As a live band, I never rated him. He's a terrible singer, but the band, John Squire and Manny and Rennie, they were great. But Ian Brown used to let them down, I thought. But we got to see him a few years ago when they reformed, and it was actually quite a good show. But no, this is a Stonewall classic. Stone Roses and Stone Roses. That was from 1989, and also from 1989. Stone Roses there were part of the new breed, but there's one album from 1989 from the old breed that I've always rated, and whenever a band that have been around for a while bring out a new album, it always gets dismissed as old rockers trying to be young and all that shit. It's just lazy journalism, because journalists can't be bothered to listen to stuff and stick with it. But this one, I stuck with it, and it's still one of theirs that I play probably the most out of their catalogue. I think it's fantastic. It's the Rolling Stones from 1989, and it's Steel Wheels. And there's just some great songs on this. Some great Stones moments. It was kind of their comeback album at the time. They had a big fallout in the 80s. They all got getting on each other's nerves, but they came back and on the premise that they were going to do a big tour. But they came back with an absolutely fantastic album. Steel Wheels. It's got Mixed Emotions, Sad Sad Sad, which me and my mate Paul could play a little bit of that on guitar, but that was about it. Rockin' a Hard Place, Almost Hear You Sigh, Blinded by Love, which is a great bluesy ballad, Slipping Away, which is Keith singing, and Terrifying. It's just a great album. So if you see it in the racks, pick one up, stick it on in car. I promise you'll love it. The Rolling Stones, Steel Wheels. Right, from 1988. The Pixies, Doolittle. This shook your speakers up a bit when you first played it. Got the amazing debaser on. And Monkey Gone to Heaven. Just remember when I was DJing at the time, students went berserk for the Pixies, so I had to get Doolittle. Say I had it on vinyl and it went missing. But it's just great. The Pixies, another band that did it properly. A few albums and then split up. It's the best way. Right, we're nearly in my top 5. It's at number 6 now, and this guy dominated the 80s. I think all his stuff in the 80s was interesting. Not all of it was great, but it was always interesting. But the one I chose is not. It might be a bit of a surprise. It's Prince. Obviously, everyone went berserk for Purple Rain and 1999 and sometimes me, I prefer Prince and Parade from 1986. I've always loved this album and I still play it all the time. This has got Kiss on it and Christopher Tracy's Parade, New Position, Under the Cherry Moon, a little ballad, Girls and Boys of course, Mountains, You Got Another Lover, Like a Hole in Your Head, Baby, Baby. Let's not get too funky, do me back in. But that's Prince. Parade, I think it's his best album, and I know loads of people will disagree, but that's what music's for, innit? It's for arguing about. Well, that's well worth checking out if you've never bothered with it. All the other stuff from Prince is fantastic throughout the 80s. It kind of lost me in the 90s, but no. That's one of my top 20 from the 80s is Prince and Parade. Right, my top 5. This will be interesting. As an aside, my son's been following me videos, and when my son moved away with his mum some years ago, I used to go and pick him up, and so we had a long car journey. So he suffered all my music in the car. I let him choose the odd one every now and then, but he has actually now got quite a wide-ranging taste. So with this in mind, he said, "I'll know which ones you'll choose for your 80s." So we've got a bit of a bet on. So you send me a list of 20 albums that you think are on my list, and if you get 10 right, I'll give you 10 quid. So I don't think he'll do it actually, because I know he won't pick this one. It's number 5, and this band is one of those bands that, you know, they should have split up a few years ago. A bit like Coldplay, they've done some amazing stuff. No, sorry, Coldplay haven't actually, but this band have. They've done some amazing stuff, but they've just gone on too long, in my humble opinion. But this one is just a beautiful album. It's U2 and it's The Unforgettable Fire from 1984. I bought this album with my first week's wage. I went out and bought this, and I've loved it ever since. And it's still a really beautiful album. It's Brian Eno producing. It's got a really nice atmosphere to it, and just some lovely songs on it. Bad, of course, that they did at Live Aid. Sort of Homecoming. It's got Pride in the Name of Love. Wire. But then it's got two of my favourites. So there's The Unforgettable Fire, the title track, and Promenade, which are both beautiful. It's just a great album, this. I know Bono gets on people's nerves, but I'd rather have him in the world than not. He does a lot of good stuff. He's a good man at that. And that's The Unforgettable Fire. And that's number 5. And after that, of course, they went a bit bombastic, didn't they? They did the Joshua Tree after that, which was good, and then they did Zooropa. sorry, Acton Baby, then Zooropa, and then after that, that's when they should have let it go, I think. And a bit like this next band as well, who were at number 4. These two bands always got roped together actually, and they both had a similar trajectory in the 80s. But U2 kind of took over the world for a bit. This next band never quite fulfilled that, but they did produce one of the greatest ever albums, and it's Simple Minds from 1982, and it's New Gold Dream. 81, 82, 83, 84. Simple Minds, New Gold Dream. Everything about this album is just classy, from the artwork to the music to the songs. Someone Somewhere in Summertime, Colours Flying, Catherine Wheel, Promise You a Miracle, Big Sleep. My favourite, Hunter and the Hunted, and I've got countless live versions of that. They really did peak at this time. A couple of albums after this were okay. I didn't mind them, but yeah, it just took that stadium rock trajectory, and it kind of ruined them ultimately. But they've got this out of it, and it's New Gold Dream. Just a lovely sounding album. So that is number 4. So going into my top 3. Ooh, it's interesting. So, number 3. Well, this artist, he managed to sum up the 80s, right at the start of the 80s, as only he could do. My number 3, my third favourite album from the 80s, is David Bowie, and it's Scary Monsters and Super Creeps. This just stood above everything in the early 80s. And anyone who was in a band at that time loved this. Everyone loved this. The look of it, it was copied for the new romantic scene, the Pierrot. And it's just Bowie basically is a gaffer looking down on all his acolytes, basically saying, this is how you do it, kids. I'll pass the mantle over and do as you so wish. Some of them did, but this is a fantastic album, just is. Ashes to Ashes is on this, Fashion, and then we've got all the Bowie favourites. Fans love Teenage Wildlife, Scream Like a Baby, Kingdom Come, the Tom Verlaine cover, Because You're Young, it's probably my favourite on the album, that one. It's No Game, parts 1 and 2. Just an amazing LP from an amazing guy. Bowie, Scary Monsters. His last album for RCA. Went to number 1 already. Didn't really do much in America, I don't think. But no. If you like your music, you'll love this. It's just a great album. And it's got Robert Fripp on with his amazing guitar playing. Carlos is on it, of course. Dennis Davis and George Murray. The last time we saw them on a Bowie album. Pete Townsend is on it as well. The master at work. Bowie, Scary Monsters, number 3, which means my top 2 must be absolutely stunning. So thankfully they are. And I'm just thinking now, yes, I have got one female in my list, so I've got a second female. Just saying, I'm not very not balanced it out very much, but it's a beautiful Kate Bush is my number 2. Hounds of Love. Everybody loves this album, quite right too. Just an amazing piece of work. And excuse me, I went to see her a few years ago. She did side 2 of this all the way through, The Ninth Wave, Dream of Sheep, Under Ice, Waking a Witch, Watching You Without Me. Yeah, I know. Jiggle Life, Hello Earth, This Morning Fog, Running Up That Hill, Hounds of Love. It's just wall to wall great songs, and she's absolutely beautiful, isn't she? Okay. And In a Sleeve. Just a beautiful album. And I actually think she's done better albums than this, would you believe? But they're in the other decades. But this from the 80s, it's been with me constantly. Kate Bush. So what's my number one? Oh, I've no problem calling this my favourite because it's probably my most played LP of all time, thinking about it. And it ain't Bowie either. But I've ever since I bought this, it's a double album. Some of you'll get it already, but one record's vocals, one record's just instrumentals, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful album. It's David Sylvian, and it's Gone to Earth. I think it's his most complete album, but years later it transpired that it was a bit of a hodgepodge album. He took bits from here, there, and everywhere, and the instrumental album, there's 10 instrumentals on. It's the most beautiful instrumentals you'll ever hear. You just put them on, chill out. And he just did them at the end of his sessions when he had a bit of downtime. The record company wouldn't pay for them, so he did it kind of on the hoof. You'd think he'd actually sat down and wrote them out on charts and really studied them. He didn't. He just put them together as quick as he could, and they're absolutely beautiful. David Sylvian, Gone to Earth, from 1986. Everything about this album is just great artwork. Russell Mills did all the artwork. It came out in, I think it's September 86, so even the Browns give it that nice autumnal feel. You always feel like it's autumn when you're listening to this. 7 songs which are absolutely fantastic. Taking the Veil, Laughter and Forgetting, Before the Bullfight, which is like 10 minutes of just gorgeousness. And then some people don't like it, but Silver Moon, which was a single which did nothing, which I still can't believe, but Silver Moon is a beautiful, beautiful song. And then we have the instrumentals, The Healing Place, The Wooden Cross, Silver Moon Over Sleeping Steeples, Upon This Earth. It's just a great, great album, and it's like Bowie's Scary Monsters, it's got Robert Fripp on, so you know it's a classy album. Bill Nelson's on there, Steve Jansen, his brother who was in Japan with him, and Richard Barbieri from Japan is also on this. But it's just my favourite album from the 80s. It always will be. I don't think it'll ever be surpassed. And that, my friends, is my top 20 albums from the 80s. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll do the 90s. I'll try and do that tomorrow if I'm allowed back into my room. So I'll dig out some of my favourite stuff from the 90s. Keep your comments coming in. I don't mind if you slag them off. It's all up for debate. And we can have an argument online, or you can say how wonderful my taste is, or how shite my taste is. And if you comment in, put your list up as well. It's always good to see what other people like. Excuse me. Have a great weekend if I don't see you over the course of the weekend. And as always, stay safe. Wash those hands. Wash those hands. Alright, catch you in a bit. Ta-da!